Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is market historian Bob Hoye. He's the chief investment strategist for chartsandmarkets.com. Welcome back to the show, Bob.
Hi, Jim. Here we are on Friday, looking at the markets and looking back on the week, and always enjoy getting together.
And as we like to do, we answer listener questions. This one's for Michael. He actually has a couple of questions for us. He asks, "Hi, Jim. I have a couple of questions for Bob. I decided to dip my toe into the water and add some very small positions in the gold miners. However, the water still feels a bit chilly. My intuition tells me that the U.S. dollar is about to take off to the upside and that an additional pullback in gold may still be in the cards at least until late December, early January. Bob, what are your thoughts on timing the next entry into the gold miners?"
Yeah, Michael, nicely phrased question. Dipping your toe into the water. We're not quite into the situation with the gold stocks where it's going straight down, in which case the problem then is like trying to catch a falling knife. I always love that line. But going back to the summer, in July and August, we were noting that the performance on the gold stocks, basically the GDXJ, was really terrific. So I looked it up just the other day, and so if you take the low in, which we took to be a cyclical low in November 2018, and then divide the GDXJ by the S&P, it did outperform. And this is one of the features of a post-bubble world, is gold miners outperforming the big market. And the outperformance was almost a double, like you did almost twice as good in gold stocks as you would have in the S&P. That was to the August peak, which was quite excited. Our technical work was giving signals. And the advice on that one was that both traders and investors should take a little money off the table. It was getting that strong. And then you just wait. And, yeah, I think one can wait a while yet. I think our technical work at a potential bottom will be reliable. But I remember ages ago, the old Vancouver Stock Exchange, and then most exploration bets were in Canada or the Yukon, and you couldn't do anything in the winter months. It was summer field season. So then the stocks would be dull into December, and you'd make your little list 1st of December, maybe 5 exploration stocks you wanted to have good positions in, and begin to accumulate them. And then the classic line was that, of course, between Christmas and New Year's, promoters aren't going to be doing anything. So then you wanted to finish off your accumulation then, and then look for excitement out to March, April, come summer season. So who knows? The direction is a correction. It's a correction in the gold sector within a cyclical bull market, and definitely on the lows, one should be buying the dips, and we'll use our technical work to get in.
Michael,
and there was another half of the question.
Yes, Michael also asks, is the current great rotation from tech to small caps a sign of a new bull market or a sign of a market top? I've heard both interpretations. Bob, what is actually going on here? I thought that nearly 20% of the Russell 2000 is comprised of zombie companies, but the Russell is reaching new all-time highs. I'm confused.
Right. Well, they're bidding up anything. Anything backs off for a while, becomes neglected, and then bang, they go into it and then create a another fabulous move in it. Now, also, my colleagues work on the small cap stocks, which is the Russell 2000, is that typically they outperform the S&P from about the middle of December into about 8th or 9th of January. So there could be a little more in the small caps, but they've come a long ways. But there's something else going on at year end, and what we look for is natural highs. For example, you can have a natural high in September, and we did have, and then the correction. And then the next natural high is the turn of the year window, somewhere in January, December into January, where a number of major financial events had reached their best, and one of them was the tremendous speculation in Tokyo with the Nikkei soaring, and that was when the rest of the world wasn't doing so well. And that peak was in the last trading day of 1989. Then you had the fabulous and crazy bull market for gold and silver, and that peaked in January, maybe January 20th or something. I have to look up the number. It was an important bull market, peaked in January of 1973, followed by the worst bear market since the 1930s. So there are terrific speculations that can blow out at the turn of the year. So what we're watching for here is watching for that this may continue on the big stock market, and it may get overbought, and in which case our work would be important. Also, we just noticed that the action in the Bitcoin has been fabulous right up to the highs, and that goes back to December of 2017, and it was December 17th. I think that was the high day, and also we got one of what we call a sequential sell, and that indeed was the peak then, and then it was a month later that the big stock market peaked. So we're monitoring this one very closely to watch the action in the Bitcoin, which is obviously a month ahead of what it did in 2017. So lots of interesting stuff out there. Michael, thank you for your questions.
I was going to say, Michael and Kathleen seem to ask the most poetic questions.
Well, I've offered an invitation. If they want to write a paragraph for us, we'll publish it.
We'll have more with Bob Hoye right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Bob Hoye. Bob, whenever there's financial difficulty that's nation and worldwide, people look to governments for aid, and a headline caught your attention. Financial aid went to fake farms. How much and to who and where?
Well, that one was I watch a site where this guy is in his late 30s and in Minnesota, and he publishes under the Millennial Farmer. And it's fascinating. You learn, he publishes maybe every 2 weeks or something like that, and you learn all about farming and stuff. So then there was a site I discovered called Progressive Farmer, and on November the 19th, there was aid funds went to fake farms. So somewhere near Cleveland, suburban homes, they got up the idea of registering as, well, there was 72 quotation farm companies, and they tapped the deal for $7.2 million. Now, the article didn't continue with whether these people are charged with felonies or not, but what it is opportunists moving in on a government scheme where there are not sufficient controls on it. So it's sad to see when people rip off something like that.
We'll have more with Bob Hoye right after this.
Value from success. Growth in discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Bob Hoye. Bob, another headline. Hedge funds go full bullish as bears go extinct. Shorts hit record low.
Yeah. Bears are extinct, yeah. Yeah, there was another headline a few weeks ago about that they put some numbers to it, and it was one of the biggest short squeezes in history, and that's the problem. You can have the street and even the professional side of the street get short and obviously overbought market, and then something comes out of the blue and gives it the extra thrust, and then you get the short covering squeeze. And also part of that headline was that the measure on short positions is now down to a record low. And the shorts are important. They provide liquidity to a hot market by selling. And then also, when the shorts are right, and certainly some of the professional ones are, is that they then eventually have to cover their short position, because as Daniel Drew, it was a stock market operator in New York in the 1800s, he says, "He that sells what isn't his'n must ultimately deliver or go to prison." So what you do when you're selling short is you're selling stock you don't have, so you owe the loan post that amount of stock. And of course the game is to buy the stock back at a lower price, and then you cover your shorts. So what happens when all the shorts get squeezed, they're gone, and there's not a line of bids that would be there otherwise for when the market does correct. So it's a timely headline, I would say.
Now, it wasn't that long ago that Tesla was the most shorted stock ever in history. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, my God, Tesla. That is also one of the greatest stock promotions in history. Those guys in that deal got power like you wouldn't believe, and there's always danger in trying to short a huge company that is overpriced, and it's been overpriced for a long time. But it distorts the pricing on options and puts and calls and all that sort of stuff. So on the other side, it would give one tremendous satisfaction to short the top trade in something like Tesla before it seriously goes down. But there's all kinds of too many people out there trying to be heroes, and on a stock like that, with the players Musk has got in the deal have huge money and cojones like you wouldn't believe. So there are other ways to take advantage of a correction in the stock market, and it's not through playing that one.
Headline, Europe's corporate debt binge looks like it could cause years of pandemic pain.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, well, first of all, Jim, any financial headline that includes the term binge, you automatically got to grab that one. And then this one, the headline writer was pretty good in outlining the result would be a lengthy problem, and they call it a pandemic, which is interesting. And that's what happens. These are on the market is thrusting to the upside. It really can be compared to a raging fever, and because people just have to get in. And then, of course, as it goes down, and if it's, say, the start of a cyclical bear market, they do a huge amount of damage. So the market forces have to be respected. And in order to respect the market forces, you got to be able to measure just how intense those forces are. And of course, at the upside, it's very simple. It's greed. Get me in. And then on the downside, as they're crashing, it's, get me out, which is fear. And those intense human emotions, you can measure them with any experienced technical researcher can do it. And we've come up with some proprietary model for making the calls, and in a declining market, when it's concluding, typically we will get our downside capitulations, and that same model on a terrific bull rally will give upside exhaustions when it things. And that is momentum and time based. Maybe there's about 6 components in it. And then the other one we use is some other guy's model, and it gives sequential buys at a bottom, and then at a top it gives sequential lows. And the sequential means that it's a pattern. You see, it identifies and recognizes a certain trading pattern. So we've got our 2 tools. One is momentum-based for a top, and then the other is pattern-based for a top, which we will be employing over the next number of weeks as this thing is obviously heading for an important top. So having been in the business, Jim, for so long and seen everything, or seen a lot of methods of successful investing or successful trading, I think we've got pretty good tools that have helped us tremendously. And then the other side of it, of course, is to have the historical on it, when you can then have the perspective on just how powerful a market is, or just how less powerful it is on the way down. So it's great to have the tools.
Bob, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Hey, Jim, it's always fun to get together, and I do like, before we went on air, your voice impression of Sean Connery being James Bond. I wonder if we shouldn't try and work it into a future show.
We can do that right now, Robert. If you have any questions for Bob or any of our other guests, you can send them to housestreet.com. You can find us on Twitter at HouseStreet, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. We're also on Facebook. I'm James Goddard. Shaken, not stirred.
Comments made on HouseStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HouseStreet.com radio is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.